2. But let's see who is number 4.
Yeah, we'll
on
do
our
a
wheel.
few more here.
Yeah. It's going to be another defensive tackle. It's going to be Darius Alexander out of Toledo. What you got, AC?
Darius Alexander, obviously a little bit of a smaller school guy, so that is something that I don't know. I don't know how the Bengals feel about early picks with small school guys, right? I just don't know. They always seem to prefer the big SEC guys, the proven big games, championship programs, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. This is a big boy though. 6'4", 320-ish. And disruptive for a big guy. You look at the tackles for loss, 23 in his career. He's a super senior, so he's a little older. He played all 5 years at Toledo. A little bit more of a pass rush the last couple of years than you'd think for a guy like that. 7.5 sacks the last couple of years, 14 tackles for loss the last couple of years, and maintained a pretty steady production in total tackles, 36 and 23 and 40 the next year. Another one of those guys that gets his hands up every once in a while. He had 13 passes defended over his last 4 years with 4 apiece the last couple. So, I mean, a guy who gets in there, a guy who can make some plays, but I just don't know where the Bengals' heads are at with early picks and smaller schools. And right or wrong, I mean, there are good players at smaller schools. Right or wrong, I don't know where they're going to lean on that sort of thing, especially if there are some other quote unquote bigger names on the board at the time.
I will say that there is interest. Darius Alexander, I don't know if it's been reported nationally, but James Rapine at least reported that they did have him in for a top 30 visit either last week or it's going to happen. So he is being brought into the building. He dominated at the Senior Bowl. He was arguably the best player at the Senior Bowl. And the Bengals take a lot of stock into that. A lot of their best draft picks in recent years have been Senior Bowl standouts or at least Senior Bowl alums. And that factors into, does your production from a smaller school like Toledo, does that match up against guys who played and practiced against, more talented foes and opponents and everything? Also, he's 24 years old. He's going to be 25 as a rookie. He was in college for a long time. He's got a 6-year-old son, by the way. So he's got a lot of responsibility on his plate already, and
mature, yeah. John Sheeran, mature.
Exactly. Yeah. So dominating at the Senior Bowl definitely helps, but there is that context of, was this just a literal grown man dominating on 20-year-old MAC recruits week in and week out at Toledo? I think playing at the Senior Bowl and measuring up against more talented competition, it definitely helps that. And it's why he's going to be drafted sometime in day 2, because I think as a pure pass rusher, being 24 definitely helps, and you're further along in your pass rushing plan, your development. He's 2 years older than Miles Murphy, for God's sakes, right? There's levels to this and the relativity of where these guys are in their development. But I think if the Bengals were to take a chance on a quote unquote smaller school guy, it would be someone who's definitely further along in his development and is proven and shown that he can compete up against better competition. Like Logan Wilson was essentially like a late 2nd round pick, right? He was a 65th overall selection from Wyoming. He was a 24-year-old rookie, and clearly that's definitely worked out for the best. So if they were to take a chance on a non-power 4, power 5, whatever type of player, it would be kind of in this range. It would be someone like a Darius Alexander.
Was this the guy I mistakenly put his RAS profile for Derek Carmichael?
Yes, it was.
Okay, yeah. So I'm looking at the right one. I'm seeing the Toledo logo. 9.13 is the latest RAS profile from him. Again, just a touch under 6'4", weighed in a little bit less at 305. I think he played more at 320. 40-yard dash for a guy that size, and obviously that is indicative with some of that shaving of that weight. Before sub 5, right? I mean, that's 10-yard split, really good. Explosion grade, really good vertical, good broad jump for a guy that size and at that position. So 9.13 overall RAS score, that speaks volumes. And I know I am looking, I'm not even going to share it. That's how confident I am that I'm looking at the right one. But yeah, so a lot to like there. It's just, again, I don't know if the small school thing and the talent there outweighs a bigger school guy, younger guy, that sort of thing. We'll see.
it all fits into the equation. But I think we got